Hello, everyone. This is another Black Conservative. I am Brian Bowling. Thank you all for joining me. So this is the official day known all over the country as Juneteenth or June 19th, which is the day in which black slaves were freed from slavery in 1865. However, we all know from the history that the Emancipation Proclamation was signed in 1863 by President Lincoln during the Civil War. But the slaves in Texas and other areas did not know that they had been set free until 1865 when the Union soldiers came and announced that they had been set free. So it had been 2 years later and they didn't even know. But this is the official day. Immediately after this announcement, the slaves in Texas began to rejoice. Needless to say, they rejoiced and they were happy. And from that point on, you had different states that had been freed. Where the slaves had been freed, they would celebrate with songs and dance, prayers, and all types of festivals and all types of things. This has continued on for many decades. Now, let me say before I even go any further, is that I knew nothing about Juneteenth or June 19th being the day that the slaves were set free in Texas. I knew nothing about that. I knew nothing about that. I had no clue about it. I became a conservative in 18. I became a conservative in 2016. And I didn't hear anything about this Juneteenth holiday really until several years ago, when President Joe Biden signed the bill that would basically make Juneteenth a national holiday. Okay, so I didn't know anything about it. And it was supposedly done, according to some articles, done after the backlash of the, what was it, the guy that, the knee on the neck individual, I forget his name. And I don't mean that in any vindictive way. George Floyd, the George Floyd situation. There was a lot of intense hoopla about that. There was a lot of anger going on about that. And so the politicians, Democrats in particular, used that as the premise to make this a national holiday. Now, according to this particular article that I read, they stated that most of the opposition that they received from signing this bill into law to make Juneteenth a national holiday was mostly from Republicans. But the article states that the argument of the Republicans in that particular article states that their argument was based on the idea of calling Juneteenth an Independence Day, because the Juneteenth is not just called Juneteenth; it's called Independence Day. It's called a few other different titles, but Independence Day for Africans is another day that is called. And the Republicans, during the signing of this bill, felt that people would be confused that signing with July 4th. And they thought that this would lead people to the idea of celebrating freedom based on their race or their ethnicity. So they opposed this law, but they weren't so, I don't think they were so opposed against it in terms of it being a national holiday, but they were opposed against it being called Independence Day because it would be confused with actual Independence Day, July 4th. But this is the deal. This is the official day. And like I said, the history goes that President Lincoln had already signed the Emancipation Proclamation in 1863. But it wasn't until June 19th, 1865, that slaves in Texas had found out about it when the Union soldiers came and announced it. There's another issue too that I wanted to bring out as well. And that issue is that the state of Texas immediately afterwards began to make that a national holiday for themselves, that they would celebrate themselves. It became a holiday that they would actually celebrate themselves. It became an official day in which former Texas slaves would celebrate this holiday or this freedom. Okay. But my point in mentioning this particular day is that what I'm hearing from a lot of black people in this country, okay, is a lot of things that tend to contradict what this is all about. We got to keep in mind that this should not be used to create division within the country. The last time that we had this Juneteenth celebration, I think last year, I'm posted in front of Tower City like I always am posted, doing my job, and I see blacks twerking in front of whites and calling white people names and dogging them out and disrespecting them. And I'm saying to myself, and this is before I knew much of anything about it. I hadn't read up on it, I hadn't studied up on it. But I'm saying to myself, why would you mock the white people of 2022? Why would you mock them and make fun of them and mock them and twerk in front of them? What is the point in doing that? This is the stuff that angers me about these particular segment of black people. Why we got to do everything but backwards? Couldn't we do something that's respectful when we respond? We always got to do stupid, dumb. Well, I ain't going to say we. I'm not involved in that retardation. But it's always has to be someone from the, that had that ghetto mindset to twerk in front of white people and hate on white. That's not what it's about. First of all, a lot of these white people, just if not all of them, had nothing to do with that. They had nothing to do with it. Why are you getting mad at them? And in fact, let me say this. The Civil War is considered to be the bloodiest war in American history. Over 600,000 soldiers died in that war. And do you know, most of the soldiers, even though it was a mixture of black soldiers, there were some black soldiers in it, most of the soldiers that gave their life to free blacks were whites. They were whites. And yet they're disrespected, they're dogged, they're stepped on and ridiculed. But these whites gave their life for a cause that in every sense of the way was not their own cause. They weren't slaves. But yet they gave their life to fight for the freedom of black people. And yet in modern history, you have black people twerking in front of white people, calling white people names, cussing them out, and all this other kind of stuff. And now I go to work, I got to watch, I'm on my bike, and I'm a decent person. I'm a humanitarian person. I'm a godly man. I try to treat everyone with respect and dignity. But when I get on my job, a lot of white people like looking at me while I'm riding on my bike with my uniform on, looking at me scared. Almost like, and I'm just saying to myself, you don't have to be scared of me. Number one, I have on a uniform. So I'm here to protect you. You don't have to be scared of me. But they get this imagery of blacks in general from the crap that they see and experience all the time. They're being persecuted and hated on. And it's like, that has to stop. When are black people within this particular segment of society going to wake up and say, wait a minute, hold it. We are blessed to be in America. We are blessed. We've come a long way. Can't we all just get along? I mean, come on, man. It has to stop eventually somewhere down the line. It has to stop. And that's what I wanted to say. I was reading somewhere, one particular YouTuber did a video on Chicago. All right. And you know that Juneteenth is considered to be the longest black celebration holiday for black people. I mean, it starts actually Saturday and it goes all the way to Monday, which is the official day. But blacks have been celebrating it since Saturday, right? And what I found out is that in Chicago, during this celebration of Juneteenth, over the weekend, gunfire, people getting shot, people getting killed. During the celebration, they celebrate someone gets shot. You're supposed to be celebrating blacks being freed. And what are you doing? You're acting like a ghetto-minded knucklehead. I said it. I'm not taking back. People can unsubscribe. They can disagree. They can not like. I don't care. It's the truth. Because unfortunately, people within the inner city ghettos, which I was born and raised in, so I know how they think, okay, have this mindset that the world is against them. The world ain't against you, boo-boo. You're the issue. You're the problem. And now they is supposed to be celebrating and you acting a fool. This is embarrassing. That's what I wanted to hit at on this video. Give you a little history of it if you didn't know. But then also to say, look, all the craziness has to stop among black people. And that's why every 4 years, the Democratic Party, the party of slavery, keeps blacks psychologically enslaved, particularly in the ghetto. Because they know that blacks within the ghetto, for the most part, will not go beyond what they see on the mainstream news. They're not going to pick up a book and read it. They're not going to go outside the box that's been created for them. They're going to continue to live a lie. And as long as the Democratic Party can keep you enslaved like they always have been, they're going to keep saying the same thing they've been saying. And let me say this and sum this video up this way. President Joe Biden signing the bill into to make Juneteenth a national holiday. Okay, cool. You are okay. Big deal. Big deal. What has he done for black people since he's been in office? What has he done that's been beneficial for black people other than spend the same rhetoric that Democrats always spend every 4 years? What has he done? Name it. Put it in the comment box for those that are pro-Biden. Put it in the comment box. I don't know what he has done unless you someone, and no offense, just follow me down the Yellow Brick Road here. But I'm just going to be real with you. Unless you someone that believes that feels like I don't want to work. I'm going to let the government take care of me. I don't need to work. I'm going to get my own house. Let them take care of me. While you mooching off of workers like myself and millions of other black people and other people in this country mooching off of us and not wanting to work and giving us a hard time, we're the ones suffering here. While you sitting on your butt doing nothing. No, boo-boo. That has to change. That mentality has to change. And as long as Democrats can keep spending the same rhetoric over and over again towards these group of black people, they're going to keep doing it. And like I said, what has he done? What has Joe Biden done for the black community since the time he's been in office? What has he done beneficial? Other than the fact of keep spending the same rhetoric and keeping black people in the ghetto on the plantation, the urban plantation. He hasn't done anything, right? Think about that for a moment. So him signing this into a national holiday, hey, it'll benefit me in the sense that I'm going to get time and a half. But if he didn't sign into the national holiday, I could care less. I'm thankful to God that we are free. Okay, from physical slavery. But it irks me and angers me and grieves my heart that so many blacks are still slaves in their mind, and that the same political party that enslaved them pre-Civil War is the same political party that's enslaving them right now. And they're too goofy to see that. They're too blind to see that. That has to stop. And I'm hitting it right where I'm not holding back. People can cuss me out and call me names and call me a betrayer of the black race all day. I don't represent any I don't represent any particular race or anything. I represent Christ. I represent his kingdom, and his kingdom is consistent of all people of all ethnicities. There's neither Jew nor Greek, bond or free, slave or bond or free, male or female. We're all one in Christ Jesus for those who have given their life to Christ. That's a family that welcomes all people of all nationalities. So I'm not representing any nationality. I'm just telling you the truth, the way I see it, the facts, the way I see it. And it is what it is. It has to stop. It has to stop. When are we going to wake up and stop hurting and killing each other? And when are we going to wake up and stop voting for these nasty, lying Democrats that have kept us in a perpetual state of mental and psychological and emotional slavery? When? That's how I want to end this video. So what do you guys think? Leave your comments in the comment section below. Like, share, and subscribe to my channel. God bless you all and see you again.